Dan Bilzerian, a true web phenomenon with over 32 million followers on Instagram, never misses an opportunity to flaunt his wealth. Beautiful women, weapons, and a dream life. But what is his source of income, and why is he seemingly facing bankruptcy soon? Looking at his photos in which he always appears immersed in luxury and beautiful women, one wonders how much Dan Bilzerian earns, and what is the origin of his wealth. Apparently, Bilzerian doesn't seem to be doing any work, and not even the number of his followers on Instagram, 32 million, seems enough to justify such wealth. Certainly, his heritage is not the result of the appearances that Bilzerian has made in some successful films, such as Lone Survivor and The Equalizer, since for all these his cinematographic experiences, Bilzerian has not taken any compensation. Indeed, according to some rumors, it seems he himself paid for a few more moments of celebrity. Despite his success, it is still not clear today where his money came from, nor what the trigger that allowed him to accrue estimated assets of about $100 million. In several interviews, Dan Bilzerian has stated that he owes a large part of his earnings to poker, but many are convinced that this is not the case. Is it possible to live in a villa with a pool in the Hollywood Hills, alongside neighbors of the caliber of Leonardo DiCaprio, and own $1 million fleet of supercars and a G4 private jet just by playing poker? Possible, but that's probably not the case with Dan Bilzerian. All his detractors are convinced of this, among which many poker experts do not find his style of play so amazing that it allows him to earn millions every year to support a playboy lifestyle. So, what is the reason for so much money? How did Dan Bilzerian get so rich? Let's try to find out by retracing some stages of his life. Dan Bilzerian learned to play poker while studying at the University of Florida, where he enrolled to study criminology. For the enrollment, the young Bilzerian used $6,000 received as compensation for the injuries sustained during the period of training as a Navy SEAL of the American Navy, which he never completed. In the second year of the course, Dan Bilzerian was completely penniless, or as so he said, since he did not have access to the family treasures. So, he decided to sell some of his weapons for $750, which he then invested in playing poker. And this is where the Bilzerian phenomenon was born. The young Dan quickly earned about $10,000, which became $187,000 after a trip to Las Vegas. Given the huge earnings, Bilzerian decided to drop out of the university, devoting himself completely to poker. However, his first attempt to make a lot of money with poker failed admirably. He only finished 180th in a major tournament in which he participated with his brother Adam, winning a prize pool of just $36,000. And this is the only win in Bilzerian's name registered on the all-time money list, where Dan occupies a position worse than $40,000. Not very top player material, is he, eh? Despite his failures at private tournaments, however, Bilzerian managed, thanks to his charisma, to snatch a sponsorship deal with Victory Poker, which made him known to industry experts. Knowing exactly how much Bilzerian has earned in poker is not possible, since after the disappointments in his official competitions, he decided to play only in high-stakes private games, in which the winnings were not recorded in the all-time money list. According to statements by people close to Bilzerian, the participants in the private tables he organized are wealthy. However, is it possible that his playing skills are so exceptional that they have allowed him to earn astronomical sums and make him live in luxury? Those who have seen him play recently in an online poker game believed that his style is not very elaborate and rational, which is why they question the veracity of his statements. Many are convinced that much of Dan's fortunes have been inherited. His father, Paul Bilzerian, was a wealthy businessman who owned a company specializing in robotics. So much so that little Dan lived for many years in an 11-bedroom villa with a swimming pool and a private basketball court. As many already knew, Dan Bilzerian, once arrived at the university, was believed to no longer have access to family accounts. This is because his father got arrested after being found guilty of 9 tax and stock frauds, mainly linked to a classic pump-and-dump operation, which included buying stocks in listed companies, then staging stellar takeover bids, and therefore earning as the company's stock value increased, otherwise known as misleading the market. However, it is not known what happened to all of Paul Bilzerian's earnings. It is assumed that this has transferred a large part of its assets to offshore funds, leaving them hidden from the tax authorities. Dan Bilzerian himself confirmed that he had a trust fund in his name opened by his father, to whom he had to put his hand to pay the bail of his old man. However, Bilzerian likely has the key to access his father's hidden heritage, a hypothesis confirmed by public records. From their reading, it emerges that Bilzerian has created a dense network of companies, perhaps precisely to hide the real origin of its resources. Of course, nothing is confirmed, and likely no one will ever figure out what Dan Bilzerian's main source of income is. Yet there is a doubt that many have asked themselves, what if Dan Bilzerian was not as rich as he suggests? Among the many hypotheses advanced on Dan Bilzerian's wealth is that a large part of his image is a hoax. For example, poker player Jonathan Grodenstein, who recently won the Los Angeles house belonging to Bilzerian, said he doesn't believe Dan is worth around $100 million, or at least made $100 million through his own means. If you've liked it so far, could you like the video and consider subscribing? According to Grodenstein's hypothesis, poker served Bilzerian to create an image for himself, to surround himself with a network of people who like to lend him a private jet or a ridiculous car. A sort of Great Gatsby of social networks. It is therefore probable that many of the luxuries he flaunted are nothing more than loans, a wealth amounted ad hoc, to allow him to become one of the most interesting men on Instagram. If this were the case, his image would be the only source of his earnings. It is by showing himself, continuously surrounded by luxury and beautiful women and driving extravagant cars that he managed to make people talk about himself, snatching rich product placement contracts and various sponsorships. Show that you are rich to really become rich. This seems to be the path taken by Bilzerian, and it cannot be denied that he has largely succeeded. In 2017, Dan founded Ignite CBD. Any rational entrepreneur venturing into the cannabis market will do himself a great financial favor by reading the welcome aboard sign, "Proceed with caution." However, some companies often ignore this early warning and proceed without any guardrails due to their impatience, lack of having a tangible plan, banking on their private equity infusions, or pumped up by reverse mergers and bloated stock valuations. What most of them do not know is that it can actually feel hitch-free at the start, until problems start surfacing. This has been the sad story that has made many cannabis companies that once seemed untouchable likely file for bankruptcy. Some of these companies' attributes that have been cheering them towards bankruptcy as their excessive spending and the lifestyle of the people running the companies. Some spend lavishly on trivial things, all for the sake of keeping their names. One such example is Ignite, with his sights set on Instagram fame and all the buds and babes a guy could buy. It's been largely recognized by investors and followers that his lifestyle is mostly supported by Ignite to increase visibility and use Dan's huge platform. The cannabis products that Bilzerian's company sells is a mishmash of CBD gummies and energy shots, THC pre-rolls, and high-potency options called sauce. A quick look through its website will reveal to the visitor that Ignite is working on a vodka line and vape line, and some mind-blowing Ignite events despite having a tanking stock and effectively losing $50 million of the company fund in 2019. If the truth must be said, Bilzerian's lifestyle has shown little to suggest he's quite concerned about or interested in cannabis. Instead, he appears to derive more joy in the money stack he displays and all the extravagant things it could get him, such as his $250 million mansion that he rents for $200,000 a month. Some say that he's just pretty good at spending money and not good at making it. For instance, Bilzerian is always posing near a physical stack of cash. He does this often when he's not photographed on, near, or under a stack of models. Sometimes he combines the two. Like another company, MedMen, Ignite spent mammoth amounts of money on parties and events, budgeting and spending almost $23 million on marketing and promotional campaigns in 2019. Of which not even half of it translated to sales, embarrassingly. However, unlike MedMen that started way back in 2010, Ignite wasted no time in making it rain already in a little more than a year it came on the cannabis scene. The company's annual report, as stated by the directors, stated that a lot of money is needed to fund important operations that can still be negatively affected by uncertain market instability and conditions such as COVID-19. It couldn't get any worse as the company found it extremely difficult to secure strategic partnerships in key markets due to the unfavorable perception of the Ignite brand. All the issues have started with the lawsuit filed by former company president Curtis Hefferman, who claimed he was fired for refusing to allow Dan Bilzerian to use company money for himself. Dan has successfully lived his ultra-rich lifestyle on countless outlets of social media, maintaining his Casanova, even though the number of speculations about his source of wealth have been enormous. Ignite received around $1.2 million in Paycheck Protection Program loans in 2019, after claiming to be incapable of paying off employees' salaries. With this, Ignite has been keeping itself afloat thanks to the Small Business Administration, aka the U.S. taxpayers. The last few months have been really challenging for the social media influencer since he can only boast of having little income source apart from the company, and this condition has not really been helped by some of their failed business ventures. All these unpalatable issues of lawsuits, share prices falling, and inability to get concise information on the matter have made way for the widespread speculation that the 39-year-old is on the verge of bankruptcy. However, he has been quite outspoken recently, posting a mocking message targeted at those waiting for him to announce bankruptcy in the coming weeks. Dan Bilzerian appeared to be in a different kind of mood, according to the post, because while his company is indeed in financial trouble considering the extent of evidence available, he appears to have things under control, if only for the time being. Furthermore, the brand of content and its rather suggestive nature have also been pointed out and criticized of late. Like every famous social media influencer, the Tampa native has a large and loyal fan base who, at different points, have been forced to defend him. However, with the recent accusations about using investors' money for his extravagant lifestyle, things appear to be changing. More and more people have begun to call him out, while some have even speculated that we might see a day when Dan Bilzerian finds himself in prison. However, the saga continues because Dan has apparently bailed out Ignite with another $25 million, which does show he has some sort of faith in the company and is willing to put more of his money in it. Also, this shows he has a far greater liquidity position than everyone knew. Whether that $25 million came from siphoning millions from Ignite or he's taking a personal loan, we'll never know. Anyway, that's it for today. Make sure to subscribe, like, and watch some of our other videos.